let's go.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like
good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that.
Yo, what going on? What's going on, fam? 9:48. It's coming. It's coming. What up, Mike, Nathan, Matthew, Octavio, Holly. Hello. Hello. Hello, puppets. Hello, puppets.
Hey, look what I got. New whip with no top.
No tap.
Hooking up, no stove top.
Getting yoked.
Ice cold, no snow drop.
No joke.
Big budget has big facts.
Getting swole.
Big money in the contract.
Oh, yeah.
Been running no contact.
Oh, yeah.
New record with the new tracks. Yeah.
Okay.
They been sending me new plaques. I really need new plaques.
Papa Swoleo. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
New rock got a new flex. Yeah. Current, I'm a new trend.
All right.
Boys with the full scent. Yeah.
We're ready
Like
to
I said,
go.
new
What are you
friends.
training today? Drop in the comments below. Hit the like, mash the share button. We's about to get started, you sluts. You begging booshes. You boosh. Come on now. Yeah. Papa Swoleo about to get his slow on. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Fitness without the bullshit.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping,
The bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole. Testing, 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 test, 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 testing, 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 testicles. Is this mic working? Testing, testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 948 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What is going on, my booshes, my beaches, my sleeshes? What is the good word on the interwebs? What up? What up? What's going on, Nathan, Vincent? Wherever you're watching Papa Swoleo from, make sure you drop some gains. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere that the interwebs will gladly and graciously send old Papa Swoleo sick gains. That's where I am. And now I'm looking in the background. I forgot to write on the fucking board, party foul. There's always something I forget. But one thing that I never, ever, 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 ever forget is my coffee. Never forget my coffee. What's going on? Oh, Carlos, your wife knows what's up. My wife calls you Swolicious. Can you give her a shout out? Her name is Jessa. What up, Jessa? Swolicious with these sick swole gains. You just got me amped up. That's my pre-workout. Now I'm just going to be like Swolicious. Papa Swolicious is coming. Papa Swoleo's here to get your motherfucking ears wet. What is going on? Everest and K2 flexing on you, the hosts of the Daily Swole. Yeah. What's up, IG? What's good? Kevin Murph, what up? What up, Ham? What up, Ham? Vincent, Kai, hello, beautiful people. Hello, 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 hello. How many of you are pumping right now? Apparently, a lot of you pump. You lift weights, you make gains while you're listening to the Daily Swole. I guess you just run it. You run the video. You run the vid. You like it live. There's something about live, right? There's something about doing it live that just gives that extra flavor, that extra pop that you can't get from a pre-made video. You know, there's something about that live tip that I enjoy. Anyhow, so if it's your first time watching the Daily Swole, awesome, super cool. Super cool. I'm really glad that you're here. So if it is your first day, if you are a virgin, if I just popped your cherry, if I just popped your podcast cherry with the Daily Swole, drop in the comments below. Let me know. Did I? Did I? Ooh, I like that, Vincent. Get ready to get some knowledge in that face puss. That's right. That knowledge cock is coming right for your face puss or your ear pussy. I'm coming for that ear pussy, fam. I'm coming. If you're listening to the podcast, this is the knowledge cock. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. This is a PG. This is a PG show. This is a PG show. This isn't in any way explicit. No, this is for all ages. You can actually play the Daily Swole if you want your kids to grow up big and strong. Instead of lullabies, you just play the Daily Swole on low in the background next to the crib. They are going to be absolutely yoked. It's actually been proven that playing the Daily Swole in the background, like, you know, when you're with your baby in the room, will actually increase protein synthesis. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? It's actually a proven fact. Studies have been done in my dream, but it's true. It's true. If you want your kids to grow up big and strong, play them the Daily Swole. Fuck nursery rhymes, Sesame Street, the Daily Sleaze. Come on. Come on. I'll make a man or a woman or a man out of a woman. I don't know. These days, who knows? King Tyler, what up? Proven that Daily Swole increases testosterone by 200%. You know what? That's what I need to do. So here's what's going to happen today. This is on the fly. This has just been done. What I want you to do, because obviously I have a website, swolenormousx.com, and for those that might be new, you can go and you can see the links where you can subscribe and so forth. What I want to do is put some testimonials on the Daily Swole podcast page or one of the page. I want to use it for some type of marketing aspect. So I want right now it's going to be hard on Instagram because of the story. But if you're on Facebook or you want to DM me, you could DM me on Instagram, DM me on IG, or maybe I'll make a post. But I want your exaggerated, unnecessarily not true, but awesomely true in a make-believe world testimonial for the Daily Swole. So for example, proven that the Daily Swole increases testosterone by 200%. Those are the testimonials I want. So send them my way. DM me on Instagram and you can post it up in the comments on Facebook and I will use them and I will give you credit for them. If you want to DM me and give me like your name, like your first name and your last initial, I am more than happy to use that in some type of post. But I want to hear what you feel like the Daily Swole does for you. Okay, so that's cool. We're just doing that right now. That's actually happening. That just happened. And look at the size of this fucking mug. Holy shit. On IG, this is like the size of my face. On Facebook too. I got this up in Connecticut actually at a flea market type thing. It's actually a mug of the state of Florida. And it's literally as big as Florida. Look how big that fucking mug is. It's the biggest mug in the world. I have massive mugs. It fits me. It fits me. It looks tiny next to my biceps. So I'm so excited. I'm so hyped up. All right, let's get into the show today. Again, thank you for joining me and send me your ridiculous testimonials. Episode 948 of the Daily Swole. We are going to talk about core work today that you can do anywhere and the importance of core work. And I'm also going to show you a little bit of a demo. I'm actually going to show you an exercise or two and really bring this point home rather than just sit there and talk to you. Those of you that are watching live, you're going to be able to see a little bit of a demonstration. You're not going to see it on Instagram, but on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the streaming sites, you're going to be able to see a little bit of a demo of some glute exercises. And I have a lot of messages all the time. How do you do core? When do you do core work? When should you implement or integrate core? And if you've been following the show for a minute, a hot minute, for a while, for whatever amount of episodes, chances are in the recent past, maybe in the past month, you've gotten a bunch of episodes about core activation, about glute activation, which is extremely important. It's extremely important for your strength. It's extremely important for your posture. And those of you that have chronic back issues, chronic knee issues, comment below if you have chronic back problems. I want to know if you have or have had lower back issues, even if you have upper back issues, if you have knee issues, drop it in the comments below if you have or have had lower back or knee issues. We'll talk about the knees and the lower back directly, even the hips, that counts. But if you have or have had, unfortunately, lower back or knee issues or, because a lot of times those come in pairs, unfortunately, it is in large part, of course, there's always those extreme. I mean, I'm not going to tell you exactly, this is exactly what it is, but 999,000 out of whatever the million it is, you are not activating your glutes properly. Usually it comes down to, especially when it's a non-contact injury, right? When you're changing directions or you're stepping off a curb or you're bending over to pick something up. A lot of times it's because you are not activating the proper muscles that are keeping your body aligned. And when the body is not out of alignment, you lose movement efficiency. The body is quote unquote designed, has evolved to have a certain balance and a certain center of gravity over each joint. It's called posture. You have posture when you're sitting down, you have posture when you're standing up, and you have posture when you're moving, which is called dynamic posture. And if you have improper alignment from a standing, static, or seated position, if you're at rest and your static posture is out of alignment, your dynamic posture is also going to be out of alignment. And because of the quicker movements and the speed and the force compounded by gravity, those improper movements and those misalignments start getting exaggerated. So the lower back starts arching a lot more. Have you seen videos, or maybe yourself, have you seen people that when they squat, like when they stand, they look fine, but then when they squat, their knees start to go in a little bit, but they add weight, and the more weight that they add or the faster they squat, their knees start buckling in more. That's because of the compounded force and speed, right? All that extra force, all that extra energy is exaggerating the imbalances with their posture. And it all comes from the glutes. The glutes are the center of the body, and it's the base of your core. So when you're thinking core, most people think six-pack abs. Yes, well, that's in the middle. And if you think about the core like an apple, the core is in the middle. Sure, the abs are in the middle of the body. But when we're talking about core, we're talking about inside the body, not just from the outside. If you think about rings on a tree, the rectus abdominis, the abs, the six-pack, that's kind of on the outside. Those aren't the most important muscles that you need to be worried about. It's the muscles on the inside, behind that, the ones you can't see, the ones that are against the spine, the ones that are in the center rings of your tree. That's what's most important, because that's what's supporting your spine. Not the ones on the outside, it's the ones on the inside that are creating pressure that are going to actually wrap themselves around, literally, your spine, your lower back. Those are the ones that are going to be most important. And the glutes are the foundation. It's the base of the pyramid. It's at the bottom of all of it. Okay, everything is stacked upon the glutes. And if the glutes are not activated properly, you're going to start having imbalance and weakness around the hips. And the hips start to tend to tilt forward. You might have heard this before as an anterior pelvic tilt. And it's a huge problem because this happens as an effect of sitting down too much, because you're in hip flexion. So the muscles on the front of the body get very, very tight, start to pull the hips forward, and the glutes get very, very weak, because when you're sitting down, the glutes are stretched, and also your pressure, your body pressure is pushing into the glutes. You're essentially foam rolling and massaging your glutes when you're sitting on them. So you inhibit, you shut down your brain activity, your neuromuscular activity to the glutes because you're sitting down. You're lengthening the glutes, and the pressure neurally inhibits glute activation. So then you get up off your ass and you decide, I'm going to go to do legs. I'm going to go to leg day. But you don't do any targeted glute activation before. You don't do it regularly. And then now you're going to the gym or going to your sport or going to CrossFit or whatever the hell you're doing. You're going to that physical activity now, and you have deactivated, inhibited glutes, and that's the foundation of your core. So now your knees are at risk, your lower back is at risk, your shoulders, your neck, everything is at risk above and below the glutes because you have been shutting it down. Now that's just one day. That's one example. Think about sitting down, being in a hip flex position in the car, sitting down at work, sitting down at home. You're sitting down, but not for a day. You're doing this weeks and months and years and decades, compounded over and over and over and over and fucking over again. That's why people have injuries. I'm not saying you can't sit down and watch a movie and all of a sudden, oh my God, your glutes are deactivated. You're going to be fucked up. No, but whenever you go do a workout, you should be activating your glutes at the beginning just to get your body warmed up, to get those muscles firing. But you also need to be proactive and do this regularly in order to rebalance your body. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of people with knee pain, a lot of people with back pain. It's a huge problem. Most people have back pain. Most people, over 90% of people, have some kind of lower back injury in their life. And it comes back and around. And most of these injuries, whether it's a hamstring injury, a knee injury, tendonitis, lower back pain, you throw out your back, I have back spasms, neck pain. How many of these injuries happen once and never come back? Now, they usually come back over and over and over again. It's called the cumulative injury cycle. It's cyclical. It's this vicious cycle that never ever stops unless you break that cycle, unless you take it upon yourself to start targeting these muscles. And that's why I promote yoga so much, because it's easier to say, go do a yoga class, and it's more entertaining, so to speak, and it can get a much broader, it paints a much broader picture for your body. It helps you mentally, psychologically, physiologically. It helps activate these muscles. It helps inhibit ones that are too tight. Yoga is a great blanket approach to realigning your body. Also, if you combine yoga with glute activation exercises on a regular basis and you focus on that, you can dramatically improve your body's static and dynamic posture and dramatically decrease your risk for injury. Float some biceps, some gorillas, float the emoji of your choice if you are all in favor of minimizing your risk of injury and minimizing the occurrence of injury. I'm telling you, every fucking piece of content that I do is about consistency. If you're not consistent, you're not going to get results. What is one of the biggest culprits of fucking up your consistency? Getting hurt. You cannot train hard and make progress if you're hurt. So wouldn't getting hurt be one of the major things you want to avoid? One of the major things you want to avoid is not fucking getting hurt. Because if you get hurt, you're not making progress. Now, it doesn't mean your life is over. It doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm never going to get gains again. I'm going to lose all my gains, man. Sure, you might lose some, but now you're playing catch up, right? You have to focus on different things to get well. You can't keep on crushing in the gym. If you blow your knee out, you got to fix that shit, right? You have to come back to where you were, and it might take you time to get back to where you once were. And that's fine. A lot of you deal with that, but wouldn't it be nice to avoid that in the first place? Wouldn't it be nice to avoid those issues and to not even have to get injured? Right? So what I want to do is show you a couple exercises that you can do at home. You can you could fucking do this anywhere. You don't need a gym. And that's one of the big things that people are worried about. Oh my God, well, I don't have a gym. What can I do? People do planks. Sure. Most people do planks like shit. People think they're going to do squats. I'm going to do squats at home. I did 50 air squats every day. I'm doing a fucking squat challenge. 50 air squats every day. Okay, have fun with that. Remember, if you're not isolating and activating means you're focusing your triggering, right? Your neuromuscular activity on the glutes. You're not focusing on integrated movements using the hamstrings and using the quads and using everything else. You're focusing specifically on glute activation. Activation means isolation. All right. Isolation. So doing air squats at home does not activate your glutes. It doesn't. Doing lunges does not activate your glutes. It doesn't. Does it work your glutes? In theory, if your glutes are already in the picture. If your glutes are properly activated and you have proper posture alignment and you have good neuromuscular coordination, you're going to work your glutes when you squat. You're going to work your glutes when you do lunges. And I want your glutes to be firing. I am here. Papa Swole, I'm here every day to make sure I care about your glutes. I care about your glutes. You need to elect Papa Swole in 2020. Papa Swole, he cares about your glutes. I do. I'm on the peach party. All right. I care about your glutes. I am a glute advocate. 100,000%. All right. I will fight for your glutes. I will fight for glutes that cannot fight for themselves. Okay. I'm an activist. I'm a social justice. My social justice party, mine is glutes. Mine's the peach party. Papa Swole for Prez. I think I just make a t-shirt every single episode we do here. Every single episode is a fucking t-shirt. So if you want that on a shirt, I'm on the Peach platform. All right. So what I want to do right now is show you an exercise. And this is straight from those of you that are in Swolenormous X, you're going to be like, I know this place. This is going to be actually directly inside Swolenormous X, so I want you to check it out. And so those of you that are in Swolenormous X, you already have this. You've seen this in your instructional videos. And this is kind of like a how should I say, a preview, because those of you that are in Swolenorm, those of you that are members already, you're going to be getting your new glute awareness program, essentially a glute activation program. You'll be getting that in your library very, very shortly. So this is kind of like a ramp up. So we're talking glutes this week. We're going to talk a lot of other things I'm working on behind the scenes. So no glutes left behind. I like that. Making glutes great again. Yes. All of those things. So if you're in Swolenormous X, you can find this in your instructional video library. It's under glutes, but what I'm going to do, you're not going to see it on Instagram, but you can definitely follow along and listen and wave, or you can go watch on Facebook or YouTube on Daily Swole Podcast. So what I'm going to do right now is switch the screen. All right. So now what you're seeing now is the home screen in Swolenormous X. So what I want to do is show you a specific exercise. Let's see, instructional videos. All right, so we'll scroll down. We'll go to glutes. So I want to show one exercise in particular. All right, the lateral tube walk. I've done this before. On the show. We've talked about the lateral tube walking. And this exercise, let me just mute this because it's going to get pretty annoying. So the lateral tube walk is extremely important in its mobility, in the ability to work the glutes in a different plane of motion, the frontal plane, side to side, the gluteus medius. One of the reasons why the lateral tube walk is so important is that you are normally walking front to back. You're normally walking straight ahead, or every once in a while you might back up a little bit, but very rarely are you moving side to side. If you want to walk to the left, what do? You turn and you walk straight ahead to the left. And that's not the same as working all the muscles. You have muscles, your hip joint. Your hip joint is a ball and socket joint. You have muscles on the front, your hip flexors. You have muscle on the inside. You have your hip adductors. And you also have your hip abductors, abductors, on the side. You get the glutes on the side, the gluteus medius. And you also have the gluteus maximus on the posterior. So you have muscles that work the hips to the front, on the inside, on the back, and on the side. So it's important to work the muscles on the side, because that's what is going to help keep your knees from caving in. It's going to improve the integrity of your knees as well as your lower back. When you're activating all the muscles of the hips properly, you are going to better support your core. You're going to create that foundation. So I'm going to hit the play button, and just to demonstrate this a little bit. There you go. Look at that sexy guy. Look at those shoes. What are those? Got the Vibrams, motherfucker. So I'm just walking back and forth. Now, what I want to show you from this movement right here, notice how my feet are completely straight ahead. So let me back it up a little bit. There you go. All right. So right here, my toes are completely straight ahead. I'm actually lifting the inner arch of my foot to improve the integrity of my foot arch. So it's, lifting up the big toe is excellent for activating the anterior tibialis. The anterior tibialis actually runs underneath the foot, so it supports the arch. I'm lifting up my big toe to also get my extensors on the front of my foot and the front of my shin, and kind of lifting the inner arch just to focus on driving the knees outward. So I don't like to put pressure on my big toe because the knees might tend to come in. So I'm really working on the gluteus medius on the sides. And this can be done. Look at these bands. These bands are available on Amazon for like $2 or $3. You can put this in your fucking pocket. You can almost fit that in your wallet. So to say that you cannot activate your glutes, to say it's too expensive, first off, you don't need these. There's other exercises you could do without these. But to say it's too expensive, you're full of shit. To say it's inconvenient, you don't have time, you're full of shit. You put that around your ankles, your lower leg, and you do these exercises. You do 2 or 3 sets a day. It'll take you less than 5 minutes. And it's a great way to warm up before your leg day. It's a great way to work out at home and to do some mobility work. It's a great fucking exercise. It's a great exercise, and every single person can do this. I'll just play through it a little bit. Let me see. Let me get back to the moving part. Let's see. Where am I? There you go. Boom. Simple, right? You do a little bit. I'm doubling up on the bands here. I have a black one and a red one, and it's great. It's fantastic. So if you're listening, you're just on the podcast, you can catch the replay on Facebook. Instagram, you're not going to see it on Instagram, but it'll also be on Twitch and my YouTube channel, Daily Swole Podcast. All right. So that's one of the exercises that those of you that are in Swolenormous X are familiar with. What I also want to show you is another one. This one doesn't require any equipment. This is the supine hip bridge. And we've talked about this one before. Okay. So the supine hip bridge does not need, and actually I'm wearing Chucks right here. So, didn't minimize that enough. All right. So look at this movement. Nice and easy. You can put your hands on the ground. You can put your hands on your hips. So I'm using my shoes. But what you see here, because this is an older video, my toes are completely straight ahead. My stomach is sucked in, and I'm keeping that proper posture. I'm using the posture that I want to maintain. I'm teaching my body to have proper alignment throughout the entire range of motion. My stomach is sucked in. I have that posterior tilt the entire range of motion. I'm not resting at the bottom. I'm squeezing. I'm not arching. I'm not doing any kind of like fancy fucking Gymshark booty exercises. I'm doing activation. And most people don't have the proper spine alignment. They don't have the proper posture to actually activate their glutes. They're using their lower back too much. They're using their hamstrings. And when you do glute activation, you are teaching. You are training your body. You are reteaching and retraining your body to use the muscles properly. Okay? Nice and slow. Look at that. See, I put my hands on the ground. This is on a loop, so my hands are going to go back on the floor. They're going to come back up on the hips. But I'm not arching my back. I'm keeping the stomach sucked in. I'm using my transverse abdominis. I'm using, my feet are completely flat. I haven't worn Chucks in a while, but I recommend doing it barefoot, especially if you're a beginner with these. And it's nice and slow and controlled. I'm not touching at the bottom. And you can do this with 2 legs or 1 leg. It takes 0 equipment. It just takes your time. And you can absolutely put bands. Yeah, you can put bands around your knees. So what would be a great place to put the band? I'll use the mouse right here. I think you can see it on your screen. You put the bands right here. If you can see the mouse, the cursor, you put it right above. You don't put it below your knees when you do this. You put it just above your knees. You never want the bands on the knee joint. Okay? So those are 2 exercises. And in future episodes of Daily Swole, what I'll do is I'll explain some other ones. But you have the lateral tube walking, and you have the supine hip bridge, 2 leg or 1 leg. And I'll get into some of the more details in later episodes. But this is absolutely free. I'll play this video out so you can watch it while we're talking. Okay? This is absolutely free for you to do. Okay? It's free for you to do. You don't need equipment. You don't need an expensive gym membership. You don't need a lot of time. This is for all levels. This is for beginners. And it's more important, yes, you can squeeze the ball. It's more important to do this with abduction. It's more important to be pushing your legs out and strengthening the gluteus medius at the same time. But you can put a ball, you can put a foam roller or a pillow between your knees and do abduction or adduction during this movement. So it's very versatile, and you can definitely increase the challenge of this by going 1 leg. Every time you do a leg workout, you should be doing these types of glute activation exercises before. And if you have a lot of issues with your posture, you need to be doing these exercises in more volume on separate days in order to activate your glutes properly. If you're doing your glutes properly and you're activating your glutes properly, you are not going to feel crazy sore in the wrong muscles, right? You're not going to feel crazy sore in your hamstrings when you're doing lunges and squats. Oh, Tanya, you just said that. Tanya on YouTube, I was always sore in the hamstrings. Since I started to do glute activation, I discovered my butt muscles. That's what glute activation does. That's what glute activation does. Glute activation creates pretty much the body, and it gives you what you're trying to do. You're going to the gym in order to work your glutes. You're going to do legs. But you shouldn't be getting crazy sore in your quads and crazy sore in your hamstrings at the expense of not feeling it in your glute muscles. Okay? That's the takeaway from this episode, is to make sure that you are firing the muscles before you're priming the body. It's like a race car. You're getting it warmed up. The engine's warm. The oil's warm. Everything is, you don't just turn it on and fucking jam on the gas. Okay? Yeah, before you do runs, before you do any kind of cardiovascular activity, before you do anything, you should be doing at least a couple sets of just some glute activation. Nice and easy. You don't have to crush yourself. This does not mean before your leg workout, oh my God, I'm going to be so fatigued before I do squats. You're not doing this to fatigue your body. You're just doing this to turn on the lights. It's like those lights in the warehouses where you have to turn it on. It takes 10 or 15 minutes for them to get fully bright. That's all it is. You're telling the body, because we're sitting for 6 hours, we're going to fire the glutes and make sure, okay, brain, remember, we're going to be doing squats and lunges today, but you got to fire the glutes first. So you kind of turn them on. Hey, glutes are awake. Cool. And then when you start doing your warm-up sets for your compound exercises, the glutes are fired. And then you integrate them in your exercise. And then now that the glutes are firing and they're activated, now your squat is more effective. You have better posture in your squat. Your lower back is at lower risk. You have more strength output because you're using the muscles the way they're designed. You have better postural alignment because you're doing your yoga, you're doing your glute activation, so your lower back is less at risk for injuries when you're picking up your fucking purse or your wallet or your shoes off the ground. You shouldn't be throwing out your fucking back. Your knees are at less risk, so you're at less risk for tweaks, meniscal tears, ACL injuries, just tendonitis. You're better aligned. When the body is not aligned properly, wherever it is, elbow, shoulder, when you're not aligned properly, that's when these random injuries and tendonitis and shit like that happen. It's because things are not lined up properly. So they start rubbing more, you get inflammation, you get pain, you get injuries. It's because you're not aligned. And if you're not doing yoga or activation exercises, you're not aligned. It's a fact. There's no way you're going to have good posture and perfect and excellent movement if you're not practicing these things, especially if you're sitting down a lot. You don't. Oh, I can touch my toes. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And everyone's got different limb lengths. Everyone's got different movement capacities. Everyone's different. So the way your movement looks is going to be different than someone else's, but you still need to work on your mobility. You still need to work on which muscles are firing. That's extremely important. Okay, that's extremely important. So again, those of you that are already members of Swolenormous X, you can go into your instructional video archive and check out the glutes section in the instructional videos, and stay tuned for the new programs, the new program training workouts that are specifically level oriented, so you can build up to more advanced glute activation. And that is slated to come out before the end of the year. So that's going to be coming out probably in the next week or two that I've been working on. So to go along with your shoulder awareness programs in the awareness section of the program vault. So this is something that you should be thinking about now. Those of you that are, maybe this is the first time you've heard anything. If it's your first time hearing about this, if you're new to the podcast and you've never heard of this before, drop in the comments below. There's nothing wrong with this being new content. Just make sure you go back and listen to previous episodes and listen to other episodes of the podcast. That way you can get up to speed, because this is very important. Trisha, I did my second yin for hips class in Swolenormous X, and I swear after it felt like a vice had been removed from my hips. I was walking around like I can freaking move. It's a big deal. Hip mobility is a big deal. And if your muscles are aligned properly, your body's aligned properly, you have proper posture, if the right muscles are activated, then it makes all the difference. I'm telling you, when you have proper alignment and the tension is distributed properly around your body, it is such a game changer. I can't even explain it. You have to experience it. And I highly encourage all of you to start getting on that fucking train. So get on it, activate your glutes. I don't care if it's fucking International Chest Day. It's always International fucking Glute Day, every fucking day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 948 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast, and Peachcast. In the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Papa Swolio here every single day to get your ears wet on the Daily Sleaze. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 949 of the Daily Swole. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. Ya boy, Papa Swolio. Out.